Hey guys, Adam Rounisto here again for day 3 of the 90-day challenge. And today I want to ask you a question. Is your mind running rampant? I apologize if you can't really read that because there's probably a lot of you know I don't have that great of penmanship, but that's alright. So what do I mean by this? What I'm talking about is, we've all gotten this way before, where you've got just so much stuff in your head. You can't sleep or you can't focus because there's this giant amount of things that you're worried about at once, and it's really screwing you up. Well, the first thing I want to say about that is, it always seems worse in your head. It's kind of like, if any of you have ever seen The Simpsons, it's kind of like Mr. Burns when he went to the doctor. It was, he had so many problems, so many like diseases and, what have you, that they couldn't fit through the tube. And he couldn't get sick. He was so healthy because he had so many things wrong with him that he couldn't actually develop a disease or anything. It's kind of like the same thing. You've got all these things inside of your brain that you're concerned about that you can't release, and you can't solve the problem. So the first thing I want you to do, and I suggest to actually grab a piece of paper right now, grab a pen. Unless of course you have a perfect life and there's nothing wrong. But if you have any problems whatsoever, go ahead and grab a pen right now. And you can pause the video as we go along. Because what I want you to do is I want you to write it down. When you write things down on a piece of paper, it makes a huge difference. We think so much about how we have all these bad problems that we don't realize maybe we don't have that many problems. So when you write it down, you actually put it into perspective of how many things do I actually have that are wrong. And then another thing, I want you to not reword. We have this other habit where one problem may be causing us several different emotional problems. And we're giving these different emotions their own problem and their own. It's kind of like if Joey tells Susie she's a dumb blonde, and then she goes crying and she's like, oh, he said that I'm dumb and, whatever. If she tries to say there's two different things altogether, but really it's, Joey's just an ass and she shouldn't bother worrying about what he has to say, which we'll get into tomorrow, about being proactive versus reactive. Next thing I want to ask you is it really a problem? Because I'll tell you this, all problems have a solution. If it's not, well, then maybe it's just your perception on it all. Now, I know that could be a little extreme at first because you could be like, no, this is a problem and there's no way out of it. Well, no, there is. Because it cannot be a problem unless it has a solution. And if it doesn't have a solution, then that means that you're probably getting upset over something that's way out of your control. Which is something that we'll cover tomorrow again. Proactive being reactive. It really is about just a shift in your personality, a shift in your focus on where you're putting your energy. So, if it doesn't have a problem, or if it doesn't have a solution, I'm sorry, then we shouldn't really be focusing on it because it's probably out of your control. And if it's out of your control, why put your energy towards it? You can solve a couple of your problems, maybe even with one solution too. You ever think, what a novel idea. What happens if two things that are really bugging you can be corrected with just one solution? Man, that's just so effective that way, I don't want to make this video super long because I can go on forever with this. But one thing that I found personally is that, when you're really focused on something, when you're putting your energy in a really positive direction, let's say that you really get infatuated with a book you're reading, or you really start developing a new skill, the problems kind of go away. In a sense. It really depends on how much focus and whatever, because really, like I was talking about yesterday, the unconscious mind is processing all these millions of bits of information, but your conscious mind only has a little bit it can focus on. When you start focusing on something positive, some of the negative stuff just goes away. I'm telling you what, I live a pretty happy life every day. I'm not really concerned about all the piddle poop because most of the time it's not really there. Just all in your head. It's not really a problem. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoy the fact that I have a big whiteboard without any explanations. If at all you're amused by this, at very worst, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it with all your friends. This is day 3 of the evolution of Mr. Rounisto, and I'll see you tomorrow.